Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Let's Talk Business once again, and as always I'm extremely happy and delighted to be here with you with a new topic. So as you are already aware that we are covering Brexit and its impact on London insurance market and specifically on Lloyd's of London. In this video we will be discussing about Brexit impact on Lloyd's open market placement processes. And as you know, this is the third video in this running series. So far in this series, we have covered the introduction of Brexit and its background. We have also covered the Brexit impact on London market from generic point of view. In the last video presentation, we have covered the LBS in detail. And as I said earlier, in this video presentation, we are going to see the impact of Brexit on open market placement process, Lloyd's open market placement processes. So I would highly recommend you to watch my previous videos in this series before watching this video to understand this video properly, to assimilate this video properly. As I said, I have made already two videos and this is the third video in this series. Just for your information, on 10th of August, we have conducted a seminar on digital transformation and what it means for the business analyst. So if you are interested in digital transformation topic, you can access digital transformation playlist at my channel. You will get a couple of interesting videos there along with the seminar recordings. So you do go and check out this playlist. So for those who are new to my channel, I'm Ravi Shankar and I'm having more than 15 years of experience in business analysis. I'm largely associated with P&C or general insurance domain and currently working and focusing on Lloyd's of London. If you have any queries related to this session or my previous sessions, do drop me an email at ravi.s.sharma@hotmail.com or visit me at linkedin.com/in/ravi-sharma. Once again, thank you so much for your email queries and suggestions. I'm glad to have them. And I will be addressing some of the important queries during today's presentation. So in our last video, we have talked about the Lloyd's Brussels subsidiary, where I have explained that the Brussels subsidiary will operate as a fully functional insurance company able to write risk from the 27 EU countries, the 3 EEA countries, and the UK via the managing agent and the current distribution channel of broker, cover holder, and service companies. The business will be 100% reinsured back to the Lloyd's syndicates. So we'll be seeing that how this works, like how the reinsurance is coming back to the Lloyd's syndicate. So let's come back to the Lloyd's Brussels subsidiary once again. And the LBS main functions are the maintaining the current subscription model, maintaining current distribution network, ensuring minimum changes from the process and system point of view because of the Brexit, maintaining Lloyd's brand and Lloyd's robust financial strength across the European Union, and ensuring the future growth of Lloyd within the European Union and the EEA space. At this point, I will recommend you to watch my previous video presentations, video presentation part 1 and part 2, to have a better understanding. In my last video, I have discussed about the LBS operating model, where the business will flow via the existing distribution channel. The managing agent cover holder service company will write EEA business on behalf of the Brussels subsidiary. The Brussels subsidiary will require managing agent to use structured data capture and data submission access transformation services, DA-SATs, as a submission channel. So if you are not aware about the SDC or DA-SATs, you can go back to my previous video presentation. I have prepared the full video presentation on SDC and DA-SAT. You can have a better idea over there. Coming back to the process again, the Brussels subsidiary will capture the contract level data required for the operational purpose or processes. The Brussels subsidiary will largely outsource the placement and the administration of the risk, but will have its own operation function to carry out the critical administrative activities. The operation team at LBS will oversee the placement, claim, endorsement handling processes, credit control processes, and technical and non-technical query handling. So they will be acting just like an insurance company. They have outsourced literally everything from the risk perspective to the managing agent. The claim handling will be outsourced and performed by the managing agent, cover holder, service company, subject to the regulatory approval, but they already got the regulatory approval from the Belgian authorities. The query generated by the Brussels subsidiaries, data and business validation will be resolved by the managing agent. The current settlement process provided by the Lloyd STFO Settlement Trust Fund Office will leverage for the collection and settlement of the premium and the claim. So this will largely be unaffected. So STFO will come into the picture when it comes to the premium collection or paying the claim. The last but not the least, the risks are automatically reinsured to the syndicate's back. So as I said earlier, in the next slide, I will show how the risk is flowing back to the syndicates or managing agent for the better administration. So before getting into our main topic of Brexit impact on Lloyd's open market placement process, I would like to spend some time to explain you the LBS business model and its core. You can see over here. So here you can see that the broker will present the risk as they currently do. If the risk has the EEA and non-EEA component, the placing slip need to be split over here. So if the risk is having the EEA and non-EEA, then the placing slip need to be split between the EEA and non-EEA sections. The managing agent, or you can say the syndicate, will quote for the risk just like the way it is now, but on the behalf of the Brussels subsidiary. If the risk has EEA and non-EEA components, then the syndicate will need to provide two separate codes over here. So as I said earlier, if the slip is having the EEA and non-EEA component, then there will be a two code provided by the managing agent over here. Once the term has been negotiated, the syndicate will bind the EEA risk on behalf of the subsidiary or LBS using the subsidiary stamp. I will show you how the subsidiary stamp look like in the subsequent slide. And this stamp will be unique for each syndicate participating in the risk. The syndicate will need to send the signed and the stamped MRC to the LBS by scanning and submitting to the SDC. And this will be automated if the syndicate is already using the PPL and SDC. So as I said earlier, you can see my previous video presentation if you want to know more about the PPL and SDC channel of submission. So I have created a whole video covering these sessions or these topics. The LBS will receive the risk data as a structured data from the SDC. It will validate the data. Any query will be passed back to the syndicate or managing agent. Once the validation is done, the direct insurance policy will be captured by the LBS. The LBS system will receive the USM as SCM from the XIS. And if you are not aware about the SCM and USM, you can go back to my previous video presentation where I'm discussing about the messages. So the XIS will send the underwriting signing message or claim messages, which is syndicate claim messages, directly to the LBS, and also issue the RIUSM and RISCM back to the managing agent. So LBS will write the insurance and then it will reinsurance back to the managing agent. And the managing agent will receive the RIUSM and SCM. So I'm planning to create a separate video about the messaging infrastructure from the Brexit point of view. I'm not going to discuss messaging here, but I'm having a plan to make the video presentation on Brexit impacts of the messaging like SCM, USM, and the BSM, etc. The outsourcing some of the key activities to the managing agent and Lloyd is the foundation of LBS operation. The Brussels subsidiary will outsource number of key activities both to the managing agent and the corporation of Lloyd's to ensure the minimum disruption of the operations and to avoid the duplication of services and to benefit from the experience and expertise within the existing team. So what they will do, the LBS will manage certain key activities to the corporation of Lloyd's and it will outsource certain key activities to the managing agent so that the existing setup will go as usual without having a lot of disruption due to the Brexit. The outsourcing agreement will be defined what activity each party, which means that either the corporation of Lloyd or managing agent or LBS will be accountable and responsible for and contractually obliged to do. The managing agent are the central part in the outsourcing agreement where the managing agent is performing some of the key activities. So some of the key activities are underwriting, where the managing agent will underwrite the EEA business on behalf of the Brussels subsidiary, subject to certain conditions, terms and conditions, which is already agreed by the LBS. It is also going to manage the queries and the claim and the compliance, etc., on behalf of the LBS. And from the cover holder and the claim handling point of view, the managing agent will have the authorization to appoint the claim handler. So managing agent can authorize or appoint the claim handler on the behalf of Brussels subsidiary, and they can also authorize to appoint the cover holder, which can act on behalf of the Brussels subsidiary. The terms of such appointment will be governed by the existing CAA or cover holder appointment agreement. So again, if you are not aware about or CAA, you can go back to my previous presentation where I have discussed about the cover holder appointment agreement. And last but not the least, the managing agent to oversee the activities of cover holders which they have appointed on behalf of LBS, so that they will perform all the operations as per the expectation. On the other hand side, if you talk about the Corporation of Lloyd's, the Corporation of Lloyd will manage the cover holder and its approval, the underwriting and claim oversight as usual, the way they are doing right now, and they will also see the managing IT services and the market reforms and compliance and overseas operation, etc. So they will be also managing some of the key activities over here. So before getting into the impact of the Brexit to the open market process, so here is the high level placement process and its sub activities. We have to understand this process before understanding the impact of Brexit in the process and the processes sub area. If you want to know more about this process, then you can visit my first video presentation in this channel. So here we are. So we can largely divide these processes under two categories: pre-bind stages and post-bind stages. Within the pre-bind stages, we have submission process, quote process, and pre-bind processes. At post-bind, we have a bind contract and the post-bind services. So within the submission process, you have underwriter receive the broker submission and evaluate and process the submission. Within the quote process, underwriter will assess the risk submitted by the broker, issue the quote and terms and conditions, and prepare and negotiate and submit the quote to the broker. And once everything is done and satisfying the regulatory requirement, Lloyd's requirement, quality and technical checks performed on the MRC or the quotes. And once everything is okay, broker is happy and client is happy with the quote, then finally the stage comes where it accept or decline the quotes. So if everything goes as per the plan, they will accept the quote or they decline the stamp and issue the quote, and then arranging the reinsurance agreement for the agreed policy. So post-bind checks and the reporting extra will come once the contract will come into force. So this is the high level processes. I have already explained this high level process in my previous presentation, video presentation. You can go back and check all those presentation to have a better understanding where I have explained entire process in greater detail. So now here is the open market placement process, the current open market placement process. So if you can see over here, the broker prepared the quote as per the current process and decided which underwriter should be approached, agree and appoint the lead. The market reform contract or MRC is provided to the lead and follower within the market. So here it will prepare the quote, and then it will select which syndicate to approach. So what will happen next? The underwriter will complete the pre-bind checks and prepare quote for the risk, acting on their authority provided by the subsidiary or LBS. Terms are negotiated between the broker and underwriter as usual, the way it is happening right now. Once concluded, the final MRC is prepared and presented to the managing agent. The underwriter submit the MRC, or maybe the underwriter bind the risk using the subsidiary stamp. For the policy bound by more than one MA on behalf of the subsidiary, the claim scheme will be applied in modified form to handling the claim under those policy. So we have a claim scheme. I'm not getting into the greater detail about the claim scheme, but largely claim scheme will tell how the claim will be managed who will be the main party, who will be the second party responding to the claim. Again, if you want to know about the claim scheme, you can go back to my previous presentation. You can have a fair idea about what is claim scheme. So the underwriter submit the MRC. Once the risk is bind, the underwriter will submit the MRC to the SDC services, and this is done automatically if placed via the PPL or the portal if not used. The SDC convert the MRC to the data messages, which is called as the GPM, Global Placement Messages, and forwarded to subsidiary along with the PDF. The subsidiary will receive the GPM or Global Placement Messages for each line. And finally, the subsidiary upload the GPM or Global Placement Message into the subsidiary policy administration system. Various business validation will run through and carried out against the risk data, covering the risk of location, etc. And if anything is required attention or maybe further query, it will raise the query to the managing agent, and a managing agent will resolve the query. Once everything is done, the risks are added to the report, which is fed back to the underwriter, and the risk is also added to the report generated for the regulators. That's the entire process. So now we will see what are the key impact area within this standard process. So the first is about the preparation of the slips. If the risk has the EA or non-EA element, the MRC will be having two separate sections. So now going forward, the next stage is on the code for the negotiation. So if the risk has EA and non-EA element, the separate quotation need to be prepared for each section. I mean, for the EA and the non-EA element of the risk. So going forward, once the underwriter bind the risk using the subsidiary stamp, I will show you how the subsidiary stamp look like in the next slide. The syndicate stamp for any non-EA section. So for the EA business, underwriter will be using the subsidiary stamp, and for the non-EA business, it is using as normal stamp. Now, the underwriter submit the MRC to the structured data capture. So in order to submit the business to the LBS, the channel which is agreed and mandatory is SDC. So once again, if you are not aware about the SDC, you can go back to my previous video presentation. I have created the whole video presentation on SDC. So the subsidiary upload the global placement message. So what SDC will do, SDC will consume the MRC and generate the global placement message. And these messages will be consumed by the LBS policy administration system in order to issue the policy. So going forward, here is the stamp look like. So if you can see over here, the stamp got a Lloyd's Brussels legal entity name, which is Lloyd's Insurance Company SA, or which we also sometimes refer as LBS. Here is the stamp which shows the EU flag. Then the natural syndicate code over here and the syndicate number. Then these box will cover the syndicate reference number. And then on the downside, it is covering the natural syndicate code as well as the reference number. And this is how the stamp will look like. So say for example, if the MRC is having two sets, one is for EEA business, one is for non-EEA business. For the EEA business, the managing agent is going to put this stamp. So let me show you how the stamp look like from the Hiscox point of view. So here we have Lloyd's Insurance Company SA over here, which is LBS. Then this is the Hiscox code and the Hiscox number from the LBS subsidiary point of view. Then this is the reference number over here. This is the Hiscox name, syndicate name, the Hiscox code, and the Hiscox number. So since this is the Lloyd's placement, so we have a hook over here. So this is the anchor sign which denotes that it's going to be placed within the Lloyd's market. So going forward here, I'm trying to show the various impact of the change in the process from the people, process, technology, and reporting front. So the managing agent's current state open market placement process will impact it as a result of the Lloyd's Brexit solution. The greatest area of changes will be the quote to the bind stages. The quote will no longer be translated into the insurance policy, but ultimately into the reinsurance policy. So earlier, what was happening, once the quote is accepted, the syndicate will issue the policy. But here, the LBS will issue the policy, and then it will cede or reinsure the same policy back to the managing agent, and the managing agent will issue the reinsurance policy. So rather than the straight policy, you will be getting the reinsurance policy. On the people side, some degree of people impact will be there from the training point of view, and the administrative team need to be reorganized, and new process and procedure need to be accepted. So from the process point of view, because now we are dealing with the two different type of risk, EA risk and non-EA risk. So the stem used when the binding the Brussels subsidiary will be different, as I showed you in the previous slide, from the current stem, and this will drive the process change. So what will happen? For example, the identification of the risk location is one of the critical area. The Lloyds have developed a risk locator tool and crystal that can be used in order to identify whether this particular risk belongs to the EA or non-EA area. So there is an impact on the endorsement as well. So endorsement will also follow the same process. I mean, you have to see whether the endorsement is carries the EA risk or non-EA risk or EU risk or non-EU risk. So we have to check all those things. So technology change will be determined by the specific solution managing agent adopt. Maybe say, for example, if the managing agent is using the solution like Zuber or maybe Navigator or Subscribe, then he has to see how is going to not issue the policy but the reinsurance contract rather than issuing the policy, as I explained earlier. All the existing reports should be checked from the LBS point of view. Need to see whether the report covers the LBS, or maybe we can say that it's the LBS compliance or not. The new report will be developed for the reinsurance, or various other report need to be done. So a report is going to be a largest impacted area. Thank you very much, and that's all in today's session. In the next session, we will see the impact of Brexit in premium and the claim and the account settlement processes. As I said earlier, I am also planning to make a video presentation on Brexit impact on the Lloyd message processing, and I'm also thinking to cover the impact on the MRC. A lot of exciting stuff to discuss, so stay tuned. Please do let me know how you are liking my videos, and let me know if you want to know more about any specific impacted area from the Brexit point of view. Thanks a lot for watching and stay blessed. Bye for now, and I will see you soon.